I'm Pat Mayo with your week 2 DraftKings picks, best stacks to start your lineups with for DraftKings tournaments this week. Now, there is going to be an expectation that the Dallas and Chargers game is going to be wildly popular, see a bunch of stacks go throughout it, and I'm completely on board. This is so reminiscent of Dallas and Seattle from a year ago. A game I faded trying to get Galaxy brand and be like, well, if this game goes under, I'm going to win all the money because everyone's a part of this game. Now, you needed to stack that game. It's not like taking the Chiefs stack last week. It was the obvious stack. You should have played it. It scored all of the points. But this one's a little bit trickier because you can overload this game, but you don't even really know which side to take and which pieces to really put in place. So from the Chargers side, if you want to do the Herbert stack, I actually think that Eckler actually goes along with the Herbert stack because although he wasn't involved in the passing game in week 1, he still ran a bunch of routes. He will be involved in the passing game in week 2, especially against this Cowboys defense, which losing its best pass rusher is going to have plenty of time to do what they want. Now you could go Herbert, Allen, Mike Williams. That makes a lot of sense. People are talking themselves into Jared Cook in the place of Allen or Mike Williams. That could work too. Guyton from the cheap end, if you want to save money in this game, there's two sides of this that you can go. You can go with Cedric Wilson or Dalton Schultz from the Dallas side if you really want to save money as a part of this overall game stack. Or you can take Jalen Guyton, who is probably going to be the lowest owned of all those guys. Now, he might put up a big old 0 in your lineup, but he only really runs one route. That is the 9 route, a wind sprint down the field. And that should be open against the Dallas Cowboys. Can Herbert connect with him? Well, if he does, you're going to be finding a lot of money in your DraftKings account come Sunday evening if that works out. So you could go, my favorite on the Chargers side is going to be Herbert, Allen, and Guyton. It's probably not as high end, but you get to save a lot of money to fill in pieces if you want to use Kamara or Najee Harris or Chris Carson to fill out the rest of your line, because you're going to need to take guys that aren't from this game. If you go to the Dallas side, I mean, the most obvious stack in this game is Dak, Lamb, Cooper, Eckler, Allen. That's a lot of money, though, and you might not be able to get away with that. That's going to be the most common one, I feel like, as well. Now, Zeke plays a very weird role in this game. If you're going to take Zeke, I'd probably play him by himself against the Chargers stack, and that way you can capitalize and spend some of your money elsewhere. But if you're taking the Dak side of it, you probably don't want to include Ezekiel Elliott. I just don't think that he translates into the passing game as well as Austin Eckler does on the Chargers side of the ball. So if you are looking for those cheap options, like I mentioned, Dalton Schultz is a very cheap tight end at $3,100. He can make it work if he ends up catching a touchdown. And Cedric Wilson taking the spot of Michael Gallup in 3 wide sets is just so cheap in a game that's expected to score so many points. He's really hard to pass on. The problem becomes Cedric Wilson, a lot like Marquez Callaway a week ago, is shaping up to be one of the chalkier plays, not only as a part of this stack, but as a salary savings player across all lineups. So you have to be very cognizant of that. I think if you go 3 and 2, so 3 from one side, 2 on another, that is different enough, as most people will go 2 and 1, 3 and 1. 3 and 2 is an overload of a game, but I think this game in particular is well worth investing a lot of your salary cap in this week to make everything else work. The only other stack that I like, game stack wise, I mean, I like a bunch of them, but you can only play so many, and I want to get contrarian because that one's going to be popular. No one wants the Falcons anymore, but they're 12.5-point dogs on DraftKings Sportsbook. Yes, that the Tampa Bay offense is going to score a ton of points. Good. That's great news. We can take guys from that side of the game as well. But if you just wanted to reload on Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts, and Calvin Ridley, they're cheaper. I mean, Ridley's cheaper this week. Pitts is more expensive, but Ryan is cheaper too. No one is playing that side of this game. So it's very low probability that it's going to come through, but it's also very low owned in a spot where they should have to pass a ton. And you can bring that back the other way, whatever way you want with the Bucs offense. They threw over expectation at the second highest rate of any team in week 1. Was that because Dallas can't stop the run? No, they can definitely stop the run. They're just better when they're passing, and they know it. Mike Evans is a guy to target in this game for the huge potential, the salary savings, and the ownership discount, because many people are just bummed out by what Mike Evans did in week 1. So even if you wanted to go a 3 for 1, a 3 for 2, I do think that Mike Evans with the Atlanta stack is the perfect pair for this game. You want the cheap receivers to fill out the rest of your lineup? Stay tuned to the DraftKings YouTube channel, because I'll have that too.